Hey everyone, and welcome to another podcast of Star Citizenship. I am your host or guide with Bearded Chegg. Us plebs are going to try and tell you what's going on in Star Citizen and share with you some of the things that we've experienced. To start us off, let's look at the news. So, what's going on in the news, Chegg?
What's up? What's up? The news, not really, not really much is going on. Unfortunately. I would start with the fiasco that happened, and I know this is like a lot of like the opinions are all over the place. Some people are okay with it, a lot of people are not. The bubbleheads, and so we had Star Citizen live, and it was yeah. I mean, here's the problem with it. This was the old goal. I don't know, like from 2015 or something. For if they reach a certain amount of money, they will do this. To whatever, like they will make bobbleheads, and these should be props for in-game that you can put on your dashboard or your hubs. But we can't do that, and they were not even making it. They were just doing it for nothing. I don't know. It was okay, and the funny thing is, the guy who was making it, I don't know. You did not watch the entire thing,
No,
probably. I
I
did,
missed most of it.
but yeah. But he doesn't even know how to use the tools that they're using, which is really strange. He was like, "Oh, I don't know how to this brush, whatever." It was entertaining to watch. I mean, it's fun. He was creating something on the screen. Two of them were talking a little bit, laughing. It was okay. But here's the problem with the limited amount of content that we have in game as backers and players of Star Citizens citizenships
Citizens.
citizens. Um, Two of us figured out that Friday, dude, it's highlight of my freaking week. Every week, like I'm like, okay, what's new? Bubbleheads. What was Thursday? But still, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
end of the week, like the end of the work week is like when we get things about the game. So that was yeah. A lot of people are like, it's okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know. It feels like a filler. It feels like,
Yeah.
well, we promised we're gonna do this, so let's do anything. Um, Not my cup of tea. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I didn't very much like it, and I didn't watch much at all of it because when I was watching it, it was obvious they didn't really have anything. So
Okay.
they were just trying to do it for the sake of keeping it up for the week, and I got really annoyed by the guy that was talking while making the bobblehead, where he didn't really seem like he had anything really structured to say. He was just trying to think of things as he was going to keep the show going. I, I,
Yeah,
I,
it was like laid back and all that, but what's the point?
it almost seemed like maybe they had someone else lined up, and then the other person was like, "Oh, I can't make it," and they threw someone else on instead. So
You're not the only one, though. A lot of people just skipped the episode at the beginning,
mm,
and like dislike ratio was. I think they said it was the worst one ever. I can pull it up now, but it was like 200 likes and like 2,000 dislikes or something. Don't mark my words, but some around there. Maybe it changed by now.
yeah,
But yeah, just like especially as new citizens, we are slowly but surely learning that end of the week where we expect something is actually we should not, which is a little bit sad because you want to have something to look for.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
The second thing is we have, and I don't know if this is connected or not, but right now Reliant Core, and I've heard people call it Corey and all that. I think in the ad for Misk it said Reliant Sen, Reliant Tana, Reliant Mako, and Reliant Core, because Misk is an Asian company,
Yeah.
and these are made in. I think they were made with Banu technology or whatever. So yeah, I think these are the actual names, but I might be wrong. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, the Reliant Core is $10 off if you buy Dwarbond. It's currently happening on the website. Mm, it was always in the game. It was one of the, well, since we started playing, it was one of the starter packages. I fly Reliant very often, not core but Zen, but it's a great ship. But yeah, I've connected this to Valentine's Day, but I kind of feel disappointed with that as well, because I was hoping there's gonna be something new, you know.
Yeah.
It was like, and I'm gonna touch on that again, because another thing about the, well, that we want to have in news is that Reliance have been changed, so they've been upgraded, all of them being upgraded and whatnot. But yeah, but what I was expecting is something like the end of the lunar, like the lunar year event. By the way, we had to apologize, me personally.
Yeah.
I said because it's a year of the rat or mouse, and there's a horse on the envelope in game. Was what we did not think about is that the game year that we were playing in game, which is 2950, is actually year of the horse.
Uh,
So CIG did not make the mistake there. It's there, and now I think because the design is really nice, and I think they're great, so that's cool. But yeah, at the end of the lunar year happened as well, which where we had Karak to buy again before release, which we expect any moment now. M50, which is going to rework in 3.9. So probably some people bought so that they can see what happens, and they did the restock of 890 jump. All of this is gone now. You cannot buy it anymore. We talked about this in the last episode, but there was more. Like you could buy some ships that you cannot buy in, like, without the event. However, getting Reliant, I really hope that that's not the only thing that comes with Valentine's Day. I don't know what's your thoughts about it, but
I really thought that Valentine's weekend would be the Carrick, and I only say that because I thought they would try to line it up with some kind of holiday, even though Valentine's Day isn't a widely celebrated
it is.
holiday.
It is.
Well, I mean, not everyone celebrates it. Like some people
You
just
mean like,
don't even care.
yeah,
Like for
because they're, yeah.
instance, me and my wife, we don't care about Valentine's
Oh,
Day,
okay,
but
okay.
um,
Yeah, but the game can touch on that. Doesn't matter. Like,
yeah. So I was kind of hoping that's when the Carrick would actually come out and be available, and I was kind of expecting it to run longer than just through the lunar event. I was expecting the Carrick to be on sale until the release of the was it three
the
nine that
ship
it's
itself,
coming?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, 382. Yeah. But this is a common marketing thing. So they give you, like, it's going to release in a few days. This is your last chance to buy for less money, and then when it comes out, it's going to be the full price. And I thought you're right, and you again, you're not the only one. Widely in the community, it is believed that the chances are that we get Karak and maybe something else for Valentine's, and also alongside there's a. You remember there was a New Year's thing where we could make like shit, like a picture for, like, with presents, and there was a competition contest or
oh yeah,
something.
yeah, yep.
So they're doing the same thing for Valentine's as well. So for Star Citizen, that's a big. I mean, it's a big date, and usually in February they announce the concept ships as well, which we never experienced, but
Right.
people talk about it. So it still might happen, but it's very strange because me personally, I expected. I actually expected Reliance to be, the subject of the Valentine's, because it's like two-player ship. It's perfect ship for a couple. Bono Defender, which I kind of find similar. It's a two-seater, two people can fly it, together. But that is part of the subscription, and it will come on sale probably after the Valentine's Day, or during the Valentine's Day. And these two things make me think like maybe that's what they have for us. I hope I'm wrong. We'll find out probably day after the
Yeah.
this is released. So, but yeah. But I mean, okay, it is what it is. We'll see. It's just a speculation. 3.8.1 G came out, a small patch.
I think it was G. Yeah.
Nothing major for the gameplay. Actually, I experienced much more 30Ks.
I ex-
You had better experience?
yeah. I think total since that patch, I think I've only had three, which
Okay.
maybe three or four, something like that. But I haven't really noticed it. I've noticed a lot more that when I'm on and I'm playing, I'm actually logging myself off instead of getting kicked out of the game. So
Oh yeah, yeah, that happens. Well, we'll talk about this as well. But I had less success in the game after the patch, but it was not disaster or anything. It was like maybe a little bit worse for me. But that's so random. Like you never know. It could be anything.
yeah.
And then in this patch, it was data mined the Clasher prison props, the gun, some machines for like giving an ore and stuff like that, apples, some stuff like that,
Yeah.
like food mechanic, and the new contacts UI. You can find this. It looks. Some people don't like it. It looks very slick to me. I like it that it has like four separate. If you look at the top, it has like four separate sections. Was like friend list, group, probably hopefully corp window, and I don't know what the last one is, but yeah, probably whoever, like global or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a screenshot, so we
Oh,
don't really know how it works. Yeah,
yeah. Now that you say it out loud, now I remember seeing all
you
those
remember what it is?
changes. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
the blue, it was on the, yeah, on the main screen or whatever.
Yeah. And that's exciting because I think that's one of the things that's kind of annoyed a lot of people over the time is the inability to manage contacts or do anything more than your list than you have. And it seems like they've never taken the time to actually do anything to it. So it's going to be exciting to at least see that change come in and see, how that's going to improve being able to play with friends and team up with people. And like we started our organization, the IPE, and it'll be interesting to see how that's going to play into this new UI as well, to be able to see your other your other friends
It
playing within your
should
core.
improve the social aspect
Yeah.
of the game, which is like the idea.
Yeah.
But in general, the UI, especially the chat, like the social part of UI, looks really placeholder-ish to me, which is okay. I have nothing against that. It's perfectly fine. But it would be cool if they improve that. I don't really. We also watched like a little bit off topic, but it's connected. We watched that old, because remember we're new to the game, so someone brought in my chat the release of Area 18 and Lorville, and we were watching that, and it looks so much better than what it is nowadays in the game, and it was like what, a year and a half ago or something.
Yeah.
And so I am learning that I cannot really trust these like leaked screenshots and everything, because obviously they are capable of making stuff, but then probably they cannot implement everything that they make. I have no doubts they're super talented and capable of doing it, but there's 500 people working on this, 600 almost, and and it's like segmented. So one team makes UI, and then the other team says we cannot implement this into a code or whatever, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do need to be open development. So I guess like some things are super banning. It's like you can show it, and if it doesn't go cut in, like people will forget about this. It's not that big of a deal if the UI changes or whatever. It's fine. It was nice to see something new, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All right, you wanna go with the bugs and the exploits
The
and
bugs and exploits.
shitty
Yep.
part?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this month's subscription item for folks that are subscribed is the really awesome non-functioning Banu Defender, which is quite disappointing. I'm sure anyone that has a subscription has found out that the guns seem to be bugged on the Banu Defender, and when you try to get the call to arms mission, there's issues with that as well. That's upsetting because that's something that a lot of people look forward to, is being able to experience those ships and see what it's like.
Mm.
And when you see bugs in the ship you're getting for the subscription, it makes you less likely to be able or to actually purchase that later on, because you
Oh, I
don't.
don't even think about that. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, some people might look at it and still love it and everything, which it is a nice ship. I do like Banu,
it's
but
unique.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a lot different from the other ships that you'd fly, but Yeah, I think that kind of sucks that they had some bugs with that for the subs out
And
there.
it's a fighter, and the bugs are with guns. You can replace guns, but it has these rail type guns that are instant hit. It's such a unique gameplay. I played a little bit, and basically, I don't know if you've tried the guns, but like literally, what is like whatever you're targeting, the damage is instant when you fire. The ship is very fast, and his there's a lot of shields, but
Yeah,
yeah, the fact that it doesn't work, and the call to arms, like you get call to arms and you kill something, and I think the reason is this desync with the server,
right.
because things are happening instantly. First of all, you're missing everything. No matter how good you are, you're gonna miss, like you're gonna hit maybe 5%, which is crazy because that's what it is. Like it doesn't back up the highest damage punch, but it's an instant hit, so that should work.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
So one other thing that we've been experiencing a lot lately is random deaths throughout the universe, and there's no way to classify how this is happening or why it's happening now, but
Hmm.
it's definitely picked up to the point where me and Chegg have played so many times together and just experienced death out of nowhere, going through a doorway, walking across just a regular walking path, or going into an elevator. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, but it's just crazy how
You just
many we've
died
seen.
instantly in Freelancer Max.
Yeah,
I was in CRUL1 in R&R trying to sell something while you were waiting a ship, and I was like, I just died. And you were like, why? Fuck do I know? Like I just dropped dead. That's it. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm assuming something cuts your legs, or sometimes I managed to save myself. I don't know if you
yeah,
remember. I told you a few times my legs are cut off, and I had the med pen. But
yeah.
but these are crazy. Like yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't add good experience to the game when you have to randomly die and then go start back over
So
again. So,
yeah, a lot of backtracking.
we touched on it just a little bit. The 30Ks, I've seen improvement, but I also don't play as much, and Chegg, has experienced more. It seems like. And then another issue that we're still facing, which really impacts our gameplay, is the desync across regions. So we've said it before in another podcast, but me being in the US, Czech being in Europe, we got to go to one or the other server, and it's just insane how desynced the servers are. To the point where, I mean, we were playing last night, and I could not see Cheg's character at all. I saw
Yeah,
his marker moving around, but the character was like in the floor or something. So, you know, it
it seems like it works better on the US server though.
yeah, yeah, I think so. So, let's see here. Probably one of the biggest and most annoying bugs right now is the NPC ships that keep coming into Armistice and into the cities. Which, if you go into Area 18 or Lorville, it just tanks the FPS. You are down to like 1 frame a second at some points. I was streaming, just doing some trade runs, and there is 3 or 4 NPC ships just kind of stuck in an area, and it was almost impossible to land. And as soon as I did land, I had to log off and go to another server just so that way I could finish the trading
Mm.
because I couldn't even move around. It was insane.
Yeah, and
So
you don't even have to see the ships, like because Lorville, for example, we had that one instance where four of us were, I think, there, Rusky and Rev,
yeah,
and two of us in New Deal in Lorville, and the NPCs were trying to sell their ships as well
yeah,
in the New Deal. But the thing is, so they are in New Deal, which is the TISA spaceport, and you wake up in your hub, which is like, you know, one train station away,
hmm,
and that's tanking as well. You
yeah,
can feel, and these are like drops, like massive drops in frames, because obviously something's happening that's not supposed to. But they also, you remember the screenshot I've sent you yesterday from R&R in Serial One, where the ship was just
Oh
in the
yeah.
middle of the station, blocking the entire way. You can't go through. So,
Yeah.
and they're like, you can, yeah,
Yeah, and
you can die and stuff like that.
one of the other things that seems to be more annoying now is that we talked on this last podcast too, but the amount of people that are hijacking NPC ships keeps climbing. It seems like people are taking those ships all the time and using them to just basically troll people. You know, sitting there killing them one by one. We'll get to a little segment in what we did, but um, you know, there was one point where these people had three, what was it, vanguards, and took out a what was the ship you guys were on again?
Oh,
The
Hammerhead.
Hammerhead, yeah. So they took that out with ease. I mean, it seemed like it was way too easy to take that out.
Oh,
So
you think those were? Well, we're gonna talk about it, but
yeah, we'll get into that later.
yeah, but I like the fact that people are capable of stealing NPC ships.
It's
I mean,
I don't think it's
it's the
supposed to be
gameplay
part of
makes
the
sense.
gameplay. That's the main thing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
Why?
think so. Because they have I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that was their intent.
Okay, you know why? And it would make more sense if you were playing with what's the name, with Sentinel and Warlock, that with EMP. Because right now the way to steal the ship for you and me is, if the ship gets bugged, let's say Valkyrie gets bugged and it starts shooting in one direction, you come from behind and you use the laser tool, the multi-tool, the part that is used with in description, it's that to open a hole in a ship, right?
Right.
And because the ship is bugged and it's not moving, you have enough time to open it and go and steal it. However, we have friends who have Sentinel. We have a friend who has Sentinel, and he does this all the time. He goes and shuts down the power, and then he goes and steals a ship. So I don't, and that seems more natural to me, like an okay thing. I'm okay with that. I don't feel like it's a mistake. Maybe you're right. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I kind of, it can be annoying. But the what, like the biggest issue with all this is, I know it sounds crazy, but the fact that we have up to 50 people on the server, it makes, and we are kind of cramped. Like there's 10 places where things happen, right?
Mhm.
So and one of them is always starting, like there's always chaos, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
There's someone always trolling MPO. It seems like, which that I think that's kind of what I was getting at. Is it's making it to the point where so many NPC ships flying around in the Armistice can just run into you and destroy your ship, or you have the trolls that are sitting outside of there trying to just, you know, they're trying to have fun, and I get that because I've done that
Mm.
myself, but it does make it kind of annoying. So, the last item which we touched on, we were hoping this was improved, but when we did more testing, we found out there's no improvement. The comms within game. So we tried a few different tests with this. You know, creating a group and using comms seems to always make us crash.
So
And then
in-game VoIP system where you
right,
can talk to another person. Yeah.
right. And then the other thing we tried was we created an IPE channel and invited folks into that. It seems to work okay if you're in the same region, but when Chegg and I were testing it out more, it seems like it ended up crashing us again. And we tried it
Mhm.
two or three times, and it kept having the same effect. So, yeah, it looks
So
like
that needs to happen, man.
yeah, and that is disappointing because I really love the in-game comms. It sounds
It's
so
amazing.
nice. I
It's
really like the
amazing.
spatial comms too. You know, being able to, I'm sitting at a terminal and all of a sudden I hear someone talking, and then I turn around and I'm like, "Hey, hello," and they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, hi." I ended up talking to some guy from Germany, and then we were just talking back and forth for a good like 5-10 minutes before our ships showed up, and then we're like, all right, well,
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah, the proximity, I think so. I stream a lot when I play, and I don't feel like it's safe for me to use proximity chat when I'm streaming, but when I'm not streaming, it's a great tool, and I see people trying. I'm seeing people more and more trying to like play together with random players to them, right? And yesterday there was someone who was doing bounty hunting missions on my server, and he was looking for a gunner. And but the chat is UI, as we touched already, is so bad that it's an obstacle for people to get to play together, which is sad because actually it's not really something that shines, but it's a great experience playing together with someone in this game. It's a great experience, really.
Yeah.
So this, in my opinion, should be one of the priorities. Maybe the chat UI, which is horrible, but it feels like a placeholder, which is fine at the end. But also like that VoIP, proximity chat, group chat, comms, all that. That should really. It would be great if that was working.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what they can do to improve it right now, but it it works sometimes, and it is nice when it works. It just I wish
It's
it was
scary
more
though.
consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm scared to turn it on, man, because it kills my game,
Yeah.
especially on trading. Fuck.
So I just realized for anyone that's going to be watching this podcast, I forgot to switch between introduction, SC news, and bugs and
Oh,
exploits. So we're on bugs and exploits. I'll make sure to change it going forward because now we're going into the Star Citizen showcase.
oh,
You want
so let's like rewind a little bit. We always obviously have a conversation before we do the show, right? So we have some idea what we're gonna do. And the first idea was Banu Defender and Reliant. And the Reliant Sand is my favorite ship, so it was like an easy go. And then we figured out, wait, the thing is, both of us played a lot of something else and had a lot of fun, and it's the Retaliator, the Aegis
yes.
Retaliator. It's a medium-sized heavy bomber, um, and we'll talk about it. But how do we? I'm just gonna say like shortly. You cannot buy this ship in store right now. And we were actually aiming for this patch to make money and buy second Caterpillar, because that's how we're printing money right now.
Yeah.
And then eventually buy. I wanted Warden, and Orchid wanted Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
So that was the original idea, and then and then we had we had like a crash and a 30K and something. We were running out of money. I was getting, I don't really enjoy because the money is going down, and I bought 85X,
Yeah.
which was not really enjoyable. It's a beautiful ship, but nah. And then we made some more money, and this is great. We it's 4 million in game Alpha UEC, and we decided to group up our money and buy the Retaliator. And what a great choice that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So the Retaliator made by Aegis, immediately you see connection with other Aegis ships, especially Gladius. I would say it really has the same feel. It's a beautiful, beautiful ship. And the first thing that I want to say, it has size 9 torpedoes. It has 6 size 9 torpedoes. I think the only ships that this cannot kill in one shot are 890 Jump and Reclaimer. Hammerhead probably as well. But it kills Valkyrie, everything under it
Yeah.
itself, and everything under it, right? So Andromeda, all of this. Um, and it's a very slow ship. The maximum speed is 800, like with all the boost and everything. Um, it's not stealth or anything, but when it gets to you, it's a slow um, lock on target. But then when you hear that target locked,
Yeah.
missile launched.
The shake of the screen.
Oh yeah,
The
it's so
anticipation
violent.
just watching that ship.
And then
Oh
just
man.
the big explosion, target killed.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying, and it
Kill.
never gets old.
Oh yeah.
um I came up to the idea of trying the torpedo gameplay. um because I wanted to experience something new that I have not tried yet. And the first idea was actually Eclipse, which is a small size bomber with same armament basically, except for it has 3 size 9 torpedoes. So the effect is the same. And I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure for a single player, like for a solo player, someone who wants to just hunt down ships, that's a better choice probably, because it's a single seater, stealth, small ship, faster, um, just more lethal. Not because it has less torpedoes, but it has the same effect, but it can catch up on you much faster and whatnot. However, Tally or Retaliator is a full crew ship. It has a very interesting gameplay because if you're a pilot, so let's just put it like you have a pilot, engineer, and 4 gunmen. Because you have 4 turrets. It's a relatively, it's a medium size, but it's a big ship. It has beds for all of the crew. Well, the captain has his own room,
Yeah.
and then everyone else has like a nice six
Six
beds, right?
Yeah.
And what was really strange to me, and I ended up really liking it. I was shocked at the beginning. The first thing you figure out when you leave the armistice zone and you click left click, nothing happens. Right click, nothing happens. You don't have weapons. So your only weapon, if you're soloing the ship, is your torpedoes, and you have 6 of them. You go kill 6 targets, and you go back home. But you do have a bunch of turrets, and we were playing with these turrets. They're very powerful, but the current turret system is just wonky because it's very difficult to hit the target without any help, any AI help, right? Like auto aiming and gimbal and stuff like that. Other than that, it has 2 lifts to get in and out. It has airlocks, which we found very good. But like it has, what I really like, it goes through a lot of transformation as it's flying. So when you take off, if you retract your gear, it actually spreads its wings just like Vanguard. And then you have VTOL as well. So when you press J, the little sleds come down, and it feels like a powerful ship, man. And after playing with it for a bit, you know that when someone scans and sees Retaliator, you shit breaks, bro. Run, or you're dead.
Run as fast as possible. Hit B, start spooling, get away as fast as possible.
Yes. The great thing about Retaliator, which is how it's sold. So it has 2 basic variants that you can buy with. One is a bomber, which is what we have, which is stocked with the 6 torpedoes. The other one is just a basic one that has nothing in, because you should be able to turn this ship into dropship, cargo ship, bomber, obviously, and just like a crew exploration, I would say exploration, which is like with living quarters and stuff like that. So the ship has 2 modules under it, and in our ship, it has in these modules you have, which is really strange, it has 4 size 9 mounts, torpedo mounts. I have no freaking clue where the other 2 torpedoes are. I tried to figure it out, but I just can't figure out where they come from. They're stored somewhere. It would make more sense to me to have either 4 or 8, rather than 6. And I think the only reason that has 6 is because Eclipse has 3, so that they can like somewhat how do you say that, balance the gameplay. It's not really balanced anyways, but yeah. Yeah, so these 2 modules, they come out, and you can look it up on the official webpage as well. They have it. One option is like dropship, which is like a bunch of like dropship seats like in Valkyrie, and then you can open it, you can jump out. The other one is cargo, literally just 2 cargo slots, right? The crew one is beautiful. One is like kitchen, and the other one is like living like chill quarters. It looks so good. And and I want this ship, man. I think so. Sen is my favorite ship, but it's a small exploration vehicle. This is, in my opinion, go-to ship if you don't like big ships.
Mhm.
I think
I
it's great.
I really hope that CIG sticks with their plan to do modular designs on the ships, because that the Retaliator is gonna be the
Oh my
modular
god.
ship, because that one can have so many different configurations to it. It is a very nice multi-crew ship, and depending on what your focus is on the game, it seems like the Retaliator can fit any of those gameplay options that you want to do. It'd be interesting to see if when they do that, if you can, if you want the multi-crew quarters, so that way you can live on the ship and explore and stuff like that. I'd be curious to know if you can maybe have the bomber modules and then just switch those out at a spaceport or something, and then
Yeah.
just go out and be a bomber. So, I, for me, if that's the way the modulars are gonna work, it's not a permanent thing. You can swap it out anytime you want. That would be awesome, because then you'd only need one ship. You can, you know, buy all the different modules for it and then switch it out for whatever kind of gameplay that you want to do. So, what?
Would you be okay with some things being an option and then some being fixed? In this case, if it's a torpedo bomber, that's it, because it's so different. But then the other version can be dropship, cargo ship, um, and just the exploration, like living quarters, because those modules are. It looks like you can change this, right,
Right.
to your liking, but freaking torpedo mounts and all that, the entire. I
Well,
kind of see that like difference between Constellation Andromeda and Constellation Phoenix, right? It's
and
they both can carry cargo, but the armament is not that easy to change, right?
that's why I bring that up, is because it would seem, I don't want to say unfair, but it would seem almost imbalanced if you can buy a Retaliator and swap it through all the different modules, and it's a one size fits all ship. But
It
like you said, it would make more sense that if you buy a Retaliator and it's a combat one, you could switch it out for either the bombs or the drop
mm.
ship. But if you buy one that's more of an exploration transportation, that would be the cargo area or the living quarter stuff. So that's what I kind of hope it is they're not going to make it so easy to have one ship and then you just buy all the different modules and then you can go and take it out and do whatever.
Well, that's the thing. Buy different modules. So I don't think you buy the ship and you have all included.
Right.
Like
No,
you
and
work your
you would
butt
have to
off to
get the
get the
different
other modules. You
modules.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then you pay for the switch, and it takes time.
Yeah. Oh, there you
You
go.
can balance that. You can balance that. And then there's why. Okay, so Orchid has a Retaliator with all the modules, but I have Gladius and Eclipse and Sen, right? And I just swap my ship and I'm done. So that's why it's better if you like that, that kind of gameplay. If they go down, obviously we know nothing
Yeah.
about this. It's just like speculation and how we imagine things. But man, all in all, I came to a point where I've played so many ships now in such a short period of time that I did not expect to be surprised by anything. I was mind blown.
Yeah.
I got the ship. I wanted to play more and more and more. And we
It,
were hunting. But like I did not really enjoy, like last episode. I was not really enjoying bounty hunting. Dude, yesterday I've killed 7 people
yeah. Oh yeah, it's a
when you
lot
left.
more enjoyable when you can hit them in one shot and
I
kill them.
was chasing one guy through like 4 systems
Yeah.
and finally killed him. And then he had many things to say in the chat, and I felt so fucking good. I just typed '07 and left the general chat.
Have a good one. You're
Yeah,
dead.
got my 10K. We're done. By the
Yeah.
way, torpedoes are 1,000 each, so you gotta be careful with that. But it feels good.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I loved it. And one of the things me and Chegg always look at is, inside the ship,
Mm,
what does it have? What is it missing? Stuff like that. And one of the things I was pointing out was that bomber is a go out, do the mission, and come back. You can't live
yes.
in that ship because we were joking around about it. I'm like, there's not even like a water dispenser, and he's like, well, there's like a sink and stuff. And so I go in there,
But
and it literally
yeah,
says not for
investigation.
drinking.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Also,
yeah,
it has no cooking station,
hmm
no fridge, which is really strange. But yeah, this is the conversation we had. I was like, fucking, it has 7 beds, so
yeah,
you would expect, and it has 2,500 quantum fuel units, and it can stay out forever, and it doesn't have like the basic. So it has a shower, it has a toilet, one for 6 people though,
yeah,
seven, um, but and then we were thinking about like, yeah, it only has 6 torpedoes. So once you're done with 6 torpedoes, you have to go back anyways because you don't have weapons, you don't have anything, and all the weapons are ballistic as well in the turret. So you have to deal with that as well. You don't have that on board.
yeah. No, and
So
they
it
did it.
that's
They did it exactly right
great.
because the more I think
Yes.
about it, it is a long range heavy bomber, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. It's not meant to go out on long missions or anything like that. It's where your mission is, you get out there, you bomb it, you head back, and that's it. And it
And
works
if
out.
you change the module for with living quarters, you can do something else. Now, here's the thing. What if you can add one of the living quarters
Go ahead.
and one cargo, or
Yeah.
one living quarters and one torpedo bay, so with only 2 torpedoes, for example?
That's another thing that I don't know if you'd be able to mix and match. I think
I don't know. Yeah.
I honestly think if they do modules, it's going to be just one group.
Mm.
So it's not
I
actually
would be
like,
okay with that.
yeah, and I would be too. I honestly think that if you're going to do torpedoes, you get torpedoes. You can't do
Hmm.
torpedoes and drop ship or because that wouldn't even make sense because you're not going to go torpedo something and then drop people in to that area you just blew up or whatever. So I don't know. It
Yeah.
seems like it would be if they do introduce these modules that it'll be that's the module for that ship, and I do like the idea, like you said. Um, if they do modules, it's not swap it out at the nearest R&R or whatever. It's you have to go. I would think you'd have to go to a specific port, like a city port, and it would take time, kind of like
Yes.
claiming insurance. You have to wait X amount of minutes, hours, whatever, for it to switch out the modules. So
Mhm.
yeah, we'll see.
Now, I feel like Tali needs escort. Like right now in 50-player closed environment, kind of, no, you go and blow someone up. If they blow you, better, because you don't have to pay for torpedoes, whatever. But later on, having a Gladius on a side or two, and maybe let's talk like, because ages, right? It's the same manufacturer. Maybe a Sentinel and 2 Gladius. Well, Sentinel has living quarters, but I'm thinking more of like, or a Hawk or something that has an EMP and doesn't have a bed, and you go do the mission, and then you go down to whatever, you know place you can, a moon or a planet or whatever. You don't have to go to the city, and your buddies can park there, can land there, single seaters, and they can sleep in the Retaliator, and you can go back. You can log out, go back, or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking
Yeah,
about like, it's a little bit of on a role play side, but then I see like wide beds, and this is our next goal. Kind of. So
yeah.
we are collecting money again to get Warlock.
Ooh,
Um, so we want to try something else with the Retaliator, and I think we're gonna wrap it up with this.
yeah,
Where with the Warlock has EMP, so one of us can go and shut down all the power in a ship, and the other one can just smash it with a torpedo. Now, It's not really needed. You can just kill someone with a torpedo, but the feel of that kind of gameplay, and the more we do these things with two ships on the same mission, I really enjoyed this. Where we like choose targets, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna torch this guy. You're chasing
Yep.
the M50 because I can't deal with that, and then you kill that one. In arrow, and it feels so good. And then imagine the feeling of a player sitting in their Vanguard, and a freaking Warlock just flies through, shuts down the power, and this guy's like, oh shit, and then the torpedo just
And then he hears the radar lock. Radar lock.
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, you can just smoke this guy with a torpedo, but this is so much more fun. And if
Which,
things go south, the Warlock can save Retaliator. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, and the one thing we found is you're not guaranteed that kill, because when we were running out and we were chasing down bounties, we did come across a freelancer. We locked on. I fired the missile, and it boosted away right at the
bro, the
perfect
guy,
time.
yes, the
And
guy that I killed, that I told you I was chasing 2 times, the same guy managed to escape the same way.
yeah,
So it was even more like I've used 3 torpedoes to kill this one guy. It felt so good when I killed him. I was so happy, man.
yeah. Well, I think we can segue into what we did, because we're kind of touching on it. That was one of the items, was
Yes.
getting the Retaliator bomber. Our plan this next coming week or two before the wipe is to save up and get a warlock, and we're gonna try disabling those ships and then blowing them up. And it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Um, we did try to go after an 890 jump, and unfortunately that did not work out, because I know one thing that we experienced, which was kind of strange, was one of the guys we had a bounty for. He was flying an 890 jump, but when we both showed up to start attacking, the ship was showing up as green, and we couldn't figure
Mm-hmm.
out why. And we're not sure if it's maybe because he had other passengers in there helping him, or I don't know.
Well, he did reply in general chat because I was curious. We were testing the game, right? So I when there's something that I don't understand, I always ask. Usually people just ignore or don't read, but this guy actually replied. He was a little bit rude.
Yeah.
What else would you expect from an 890 jump? I'm kidding. But he was like, "Oh, come back. I don't even get to see your name. That's how fast you explore or whatever." But I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, just like let's put this behind." And then we explained it. So we thought that the guy had a red person, so the person with the bounty in one of the turrets, which is why it was showing red or green because the pilot is green. But then he said, "No, I have the bounty, and I'm flying the ship, and I killed
Yeah.
you." So it was really really strange. But it was maybe a glitch. I don't know.
I
By the way,
mean,
if you're curious, it takes 4 retaliators, which is 24 torpedoes to kill 890 jump. Tested.
yeah, we'll have to
So yeah.
test that ourselves as well.
But can you explain? So this was what. So what we did this patch is how did we get Tali and how are we getting Warlock? Because I kind of feel like because we have resets, right?
Hmm.
And then whenever you get the reset, you lose your money
And your ships that you bought in game.
in the ships that you bought in game, right? So after the patch, we made it. We made a decision. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. The first idea was to get another. Well, like I said, Caterpillar and then buy the ships that we want because we can fly 2 Caterpillars, which is a lot of money. By the way, Caterpillar can make about 100K per run if you have enough money, which is 400,000 with titanium, and it's very quick. But with 30Ks and everything, right? You get like there's a lot of backtracking and whatnot. But I really like this, like proving to myself that in a course of like a month or two, you can actually buy really expensive ships in game. Um, and the fact that we worked for these ships, I think they have more value for me. And I fly even the 85X. I was flying it more and more and more because I worked for it and I wanted to really experience it. I even went for some like fighting for with it and whatnot. And the tally, now I know I want tally.
Hmm.
And I'm not the biggest fan of renting ships, especially now when you can't like upgrade them and all that. But buying ships in game, I think this is a great mechanic for, especially for a new player. Like first patch, first reset, just don't worry about it. Like you will have so much fun doing whatever you're doing, right? Because the space, the planets, it's everything is so beautiful. You're learning your own ship, taking off, landing, doing different missions, a bit pew pew. Everything is like wow. But then the next patch, you need a goal, and depending on the ship that you're flying, having a goal of buying a warlock maybe that has a different, you know, a different mechanic, which is EMP or any ship that you might want to fly in future, trying to get to that ship, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's doable.
Yeah. And it
So
makes
so
playing
we
the game more enjoyable because you're trying to work towards that goal. Even with the 30Ks, you can get frustrated, but you're like, I got a goal, I need to get it. So,
mm,
yeah, that's helped us. I think the biggest thing that we were trying to do was first make the 5 million we needed for the, well, we were getting the caterpillar, but we ended up with the bomber, which was perfectly fine. And now our new goal being set is saving up for the warlock, which we've already began that and should have it hopefully in the next day or two. Um, and then we can go play with those and have some fun.
I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
Like
Um.
just to touch on that, I know I remember now I was talking about this on stream. It's the same subject. A lot of people want to fly big ships, and then some people are saving money, like real life money, to buy, let's say, Javelin. We know one person, um, and he wants to buy Javelin to be able to provide gameplay to his corp, which is a group of people who play with him over the years in our games, in Conan and Elder Scrolls Online and whatever, and they're like role play community, and they will play. And he has this idea of, in order for all of us to play together, I need to get a big ship and make it happen for everyone. And I honestly think this is a big mistake. Um, why? Because just like renting, and I want your opinion on this. We talked about it a little bit, but when I buy my own ship and I have my own ship, you make a connection, and you feel like I do, like investing time and getting better with that ship. Also improving the ship itself with components, weapons, and all that. And you create a different connection. When I get the ship from someone else, for example, I got the Retaliator, I'm like, you can fly it. Yeah, you might enjoy flying it one or two times, but then you're gonna go and do mining or trading because it's not your ship.
Yeah.
And here's something, you guys think about it, and this is my 2 cents. Don't buy capital ships for your corp or to make other people happy. You will fail with that. Buy capital ship if you want to have a capital ship. There's nothing wrong with that. And CIG gets money. That's great in my eyes. The more money they get, the better the game will be, the faster they will develop and all that. So that's not like, I'm not like, oh, don't spend money on ships. No, spend money on ships. If you have it and it makes you happy, sure. But gather your corp around and work together to make money and buy the ship together, because then everyone will want to fly that ship because everyone worked hard for it, and it will make them motivated to fly the ship more. If it's your ship and you gather 15 people to fly with you, they will fly one or two times, and that's it. It gets old. It's not their ship. What the fuck do I care about your ship, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not the same.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the things we kind of touched on while we were playing was the inability to share ships with other people, especially within your own org. It kind of does. Uh, it may be added later on, but right now it's kind of frustrating that we couldn't set out and buy a caterpillar that we intend on using for the org because one person's going to own it. So it relies on that
Mm.
one person being online and being able to get it for you and be able to work with you, especially if it's a trading ship, because they're the ones that own it. They have to do the trading. So, yeah, I really hope that that comes sooner than later. But I think their main focus right now really is the content of the game being ships and gameplay and stuff. So I'm not gonna hold my breath for when they start implementing that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so the last item here that we worked on was a couple of weeks ago. Was the Hammerhead missions and boxing tournament. So we had someone within the IPE organization bring out their Hammerhead. Everybody jumped in there. Everybody's on a turret. Went out and just shot all sorts of NPC ships,
It was great.
making a little bit of money. And then at the end of it, we all got together, got in a boxing match in the cargo area, and it was a lot of
There was
fun.
a lot of desync as well,
Yeah, I
but the
I
ownership. I want to say Rev. He
yeah.
was he was like a referee, and the winner got 100K. And for the first time, we actually managed to give someone their reward. They earned their money.
Yeah,
It felt good.
yeah,
Felt good.
it was nice. Um, yeah, I think these community events that we're trying to put on, it feels really good to be able to get folks together and play and figure out things. We are going to start trying to create new events, trying to figure out like racing events and stuff like that. I think uh, you inspired one that I want to want to try out, which is the area next to, I think it's next to Lorville.
Laurel.
Yeah, the little structures that you can fly through
The
and
racing
everything.
track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we need to try that out. Perhaps a either full Daymar rally or half Daymar rally or something, so that way we can practice the land vehicles a
Oh,
little bit
sure.
more.
Yeah, we
And
didn't play much with land vehicles this patch.
no, that was kind of a focus on the last patch that we wanted to test them out and see what they were like, but we never really did anything as far as an event. Our rescue mission incorporated vehicles, but we didn't
Did not really
actually.
work out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't really do much with it. So yeah, I think we need to do some kind of race with the ships and with the land vehicles as well, and then try and figure out some other stuff that we can do. But yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna keep coming up with different ideas, and anyone that's interested in checking out IPE, you can search us in the organizations within Star Citizen. Also, if you stop by Cheg's Twitch stream, explanation.org, we'll show you all the details on that as well. So we'll go ahead and segue into the last segment here, which is going to be our community outreach. If you want to take over for
Hmm.
that, Cheg.
So we are doing the podcast. Orca did podcasts before, and I never had my own, or I was never part of one. Um, but I'm a person who really listens to a lot of podcasts, um, and audiobooks. That's just my thing. And just like in any other game that I was like really connected to, I listened. I actually Star Citizen does not have that much content in the first place, and I devour everything that I can find on YouTube constantly. I have 2 videos queued up now as we speak, and once we're done and Orkai goes to do some things IRL, I'm probably gonna fly Retaliator and listen to, yeah. Actually, I can say one of those that I will shout out for. Yesterday, Salty Mike did his answer the call, which is queued up, and I'm waiting to listen to that or watch, but listen to. And this gave me an idea of sharing this with you because when we started playing the game, it was a struggle because if you search, for example, YouTube for content, you will find a lot of stuff that is very, very outdated and irrelevant. And the reason for this is um, the game is evolving so much and it has massive droughts. So I'm not going to point any fingers or anything. The content creators jump in and jump out, and I think it's perfectly normal. The more we are part of the game and the community, the more I am starting to understand this. However, there are some content creators who have been here for a long time, uh, or a little bit less, but as well, they're very consistent with either podcasts or like stuff that they're with these. I would put all of these that I'm going to tell you about are sort of either podcasts or talk shows, which I put in the same. For me, it's the same. Like I can do something on my on one screen, and I can listen to them and see it on the other. Sorry. Um, okay, so the order really does not matter. And I will tell you right now, I will shout out and my apology for not reaching to these people, but I don't think they will mind it because I'm not going to go into details or anything. And I'm pretty sure that if you are new to this, you will like some and probably dislike some, which is okay because they're very, very different. I'll throw a few names that you can look for, and their channels get updated very, very often, usually either weekly or fortnightly, which is 2 weeks, right? Which is what we do. Um, and since I mentioned Mike already, so Salty Mike, he is a Twitch streamer. Most of these people stream on Twitch as well. And he has a YouTube channel in which he does like weekly updates and all that, but also he has something that he calls Answer the Call, which is a great podcast in which he comes up with subject, let's say prison system, that was the last one, and he invites people from community into his call, and everyone has few minutes to explain how they feel about it. You will hear same people quite a lot, and then a lot of new people. And he usually asks for how long they have been playing, not to like mock people around or anything, because then it's a different perspective. If, for example, if I'm joining and I tell him, well, I've been playing for a month and a half, he knows that I'm a new citizen. He knows, so he wants to know how this feels from my perspective. And then the next caller might be Aliciana, who has been playing forever, and her point of view might be completely different, and both could be valid from different points of view. Great for that, exactly, to see how a veteran player can share the opinion and figure out how the community feels about something. The next one I'm gonna say is it's the Astro Pub with his captain's table. This is a great one. Usually three people in a conversation, three captains, usually content creators, not always, sometimes just community members that people know about, or they're very involved into the community. Same thing, it's 2 to 3 hours of just talking about what happened, usually like last month in the game, touching on important like subjects and stuff like that. Very, 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 very good conversation always, because these people are just playing the game forever. And Astropub also does the internet historian part, where he's like if you're into lore, this guy is a freaking like community lore master. Like he knows everything about the lore and does really cool shows. The next one I would say Inforunners. These guys, their show is called Fix My Fleet. They will get someone onto the show, and they will present their entire fleet, and then they will talk about what the person, in their opinion, should change, sell, trade. You can see some massive fleets and how they deal with, like, why would you have this ship if you have that ship? What type of gameplay are you going to? In that case, are you sure you want this? And stuff like that, so that like they can help you narrow down what you actually want and how to maximize the basically the potential of your account in ships. One of my favorite, definitely, Darianator and Meyer with their fortnightly frontier. That is not so fortnightly, but that's fine. Two great guys, great guys. Darianator, Darian. A lot of people call him Darj or Darjanator. I think I figured out he's Darianator because his name is Darian and he's from my region. So it makes sense. Him and Meyer, just two great guys, very positive mindset, loving the game, and just yeah, they have guests sometimes, but same thing. What they did, Meyer streams on Twitch. I host him often. Very friendly community, and Darionator is always there, and they play together. So usually, it's like what we do, kind of like we
Yeah.
play while I'm streaming, and then you're responsible for the. Well, actually, I just figured out it's like the same thing because it's exactly the same because
Yeah.
Darian has the YouTube channel and then they do the. I never even. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's awesome.
I can have some honorable mentions as well. That I'm not really interested in, not because I still listen and watch them, but it's just more like PvP oriented, which I'm not interested right now. Nubifier, you should definitely check him out. If same, he does like very often does videos. Just a great guy. If you like flying Terada, a French streamer, but has a great YouTube channel. Orchid, you saw him flying when during the Daima rally.
Yeah.
Amazing guy.
Yeah.
Like this, and all of his YouTube videos have subtitles in English. Great music. He has people who produce music for him. So I mean, it's just great. So yeah, just a little shout out for, because I was kind of struggling finding content, and now I have like a bunch of stuff that I'm subscribed to and follow on YouTube, and I get like these notifications. Okay, Salty Mike uploaded his answer to call. I have things to do. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we'll also add those links in the description of both the podcast site and on the YouTube channel. So all of those that were mentioned, we'll go ahead and put those links up as well, so you can go and check them out and show some love to them as well.
absolutely. And tell us if you have some that I did not mention,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I'm hungry for more, man. Like
Yeah,
I need more. I need more content.
there's never enough for Chegg.
And we might see some of these people with us on one of our podcasts as well.
Hopefully, yeah. We're still looking to see if anyone wants to come on as a special guest, and
We have one
yeah,
person, but we have to like figure out the timetable and all
right.
that.
Yep. And one slight change that I will note is we're no longer live streaming the podcast. We've decided with the scheduling and being able to just kind of record it casually when we have time to both sit down and do it. So from now on, you'll see the podcast here on YouTube and also the audio version on the Podbean website, and we'll always link to it as well from Chegg's Twitch stream
And
and
Discord.
Discord. You can always find it on the Discord as well. All links down below in the description on YouTube. Not so many links on the Podbean because it gets kind of cluttered when you put too much on there. So,
But you
um,
can just subscribe to the channel if you like.
yeah.
If you like it and if you want to get notified. For me, I before Star Citizen, I never used that bell,
Mhm.
and I was always like, "Why are people like?" Because I cycle YouTube daily, so I don't need that bell. But actually, now with Star Citizen, there's so many people that I'm following, and I'm like, "Oh shit, it's actually useful." Because I get the little notification and I'm like, oh, and I only like those that I always watch. It's actually very handy. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So if you find this enjoyable, please don't hesitate and hit that subscribe button. Feel free to turn on or leave off the notifications. It's up to you, whatever you want to do.
share.
And if you
Someone
found
else
this
might like it.
enjoyable, yes, if you found this enjoyable, please hit the like button. If you hit the dislike button, we know that's just an Australian like button, so that's okay.
If it's not, mind your back, because now we have a retaliator. Takes only one thought,
We'll
bro.
see you in the verse.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in once again for the podcast. Just a reminder, we do have an email address now, starcitizenship@gmail.com. Feel free to drop us a line and let us know how things are going. Any items that we may have messed up, we're willing to admit our mistakes and
You
make it right.
make mistakes.
And anytime you have any kind of information you want to share with us, whether it was something that you did in game or something that you noticed that could be reported on the podcast, or if you just want to drop a line and say hi, how you doing? We're doing great.
You'll
We
read
would
it.
appreciate it. All right,
And we'll
everyone.
read it live.
Yep. All right, everyone. Have a good day, and thank you for tuning in. Bye bye.
Take care. Have fun.